Hi friends, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. If you are new to the channel, I do a pick a card reading every single Sunday, mostly every Sundays. And I allow you, the viewer, to vote for what you want to see next. So this week we are going to be doing a day in the life with your future love, future spouse. And I have three piles for you. Pile number one is the Cory Matthews and Topanga Lawrence from Boy Meets World sticker. Pile number two is Wesley and Buttercup from The Princess Bride. And pile number three is Harvey Kinkle and Sabrina Spellman from the 90s Sabrina the Teenage Witch show and I guess movies. So pause the video if you need to, ask yourself which pile or maybe piles have a message for you. And let's talk about what you can expect in this reading. Alrighty, so for this reading, we are going to open the reading up by looking at who you are and who your future love, future spouse is. I'm probably going to refer to them as your future spouse just to make it easy. We are then going to move into, a day in the life when you wake up together. What's the energy as you begin the day together? We're then going to look at a small gesture, something small, something sweet that makes you feel loved and seen by your future spouse. The atmosphere, so the emotional and aesthetic vibe of the environment that you're in. Your communication throughout the day, so how do you talk, flirt, joke, or express yourselves throughout the day? Then we're going to look at a moment that defines the day, something that you would remember, something that would stand out from this day in the future with your future spouse. Then something that you're both focused on working towards the future. So where's your attention at during this day? What's the future focused that you're looking into for that time in your life? Then we're going to look at dinner time. So how you begin to wind down the day. We're going to take a look at a final glance before you sleep. So what's exchanged before falling asleep. And this could be energetically, emotionally, physically. And we're going to end the reading by looking at message for you from your future spouse. And I also have some additional cards already pre-shuffled that I will be sharing with you that is part of your message. But this is going to be one of the live shuffle readings, so I will be shuffling live on camera. For pile number one, we will be using Wild Reflections, so if this looks like the deck that you want to use, pile number one could be for you. For pile number two, we are going to be using, I always forget the name of this, it's the Eras Tour Taylor's version. So if this looks like a deck for you, that could be a pile for you. And then for pile number three, we are going to be using the Modern Love Tarot. And this is what that looks like. So if that looks like the right one for you, that could be the pile that you choose, or it could, influence your decision. But if this sounds like something that you are interested in, stick around. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful week and I hope to see you soon. Let's jump into the reading. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Cory and Topanga sticker, and that is from Boy Meets World. So we're going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning. I highly, highly suggest that you check that out because it's going to give you all of the information that you're going to need, just as far as what's going to be covered, how the reading is going to go, the order of things. So check that out. Again, it is time-stamped below. But we are going to get started by looking at your current energy and your future love, future spouse's current energy. And for this portion, my intention is that you, the viewer, are on the left and your future love, future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies could be flip-flopped. Also, sometimes it's possible that you identify with both of these piles or I guess people. because typically speaking, when we connect with someone energetically, we are a match. So we have things in common with them. But let's get started. I do want to say, actually, if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different pile. But now let's get started. So we have the deer, the crocodile. This is an energy coming through, and insight. And for your future love, future spouse, we have the cosmic egg. And, oh, okay. And the sea serpent. Very interesting. So this person is being represented by two cards that represent spirit or more of like mythical energy. And then belong. All right. So we're going to start by talking about the deer person, or who I believe would be my viewer, or at least who I intended to be my viewer. So, pile number one, I'm going to refer to this person as the deer. I'm going to refer to this person as the cosmic egg. But when it comes to the deer person, I do want to mention in this deck, the deer has the element of earth. So, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And the crocodile has the element of water. So, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces represented. And we have a little bit of air down here with Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And for your cosmic egg person, for the other person, all 12 signs are represented because both the cosmic egg and the sea serpent are spirit cards. So they represent all 12 of the zodiac signs. But let's get started with the deer person. So the deer person is someone who's very loving, very sensitive. I do think this is somebody who is also very intuitive. What's interesting about the deer person is that the deer person also has the crocodile representing them. And it's such it's such an interesting energy to have both of these animals, because on one hand, the deer is so gentle and it's one of probably the least scary animals that we would run into. And on the other hand, the crocodile is probably one of the most feared, right? Like nobody wants to come across a crocodile. That it's one of those animals that typically are very scary. And I think that kind of represents a lot of what's going on with this deer person. I do think that this is somebody who has a lot of different aspects to themselves, and this is somebody who not only appreciates but embraces all those different aspects of themselves. With the deer here, as I was saying, this is somebody who's very loving, very compassionate, very kind, very intuitive. And I do think this deer person can also be just very nurturing. And the deer can be an archetype of the mother, because it's so nurturing, it's so kind, it's so receptive to certain energies. Again, we're talking about the archetype, not the actual animal. But I also think that that's kind of the energy that this person carries. But at the same time, this deer person is also not someone that can be messed with, and it's not somebody that you want to cross. So this is somebody that is very protective around themselves and the people that they love. And if the deer person is a parent, like this is mama bear energy, regardless of gender. This is somebody who is super protective, super caring, somebody who's going to do right by the people that they love, especially children, if this person is a parent now or will be one in the future. And I also think that one thing about the deer person is the deer person is very kind and very inviting. So this is somebody who has a way of getting to know and holding space for just about anyone. But again, if you come towards this deer person incorrectly, they will make sure that they tell you, and they will make sure that they are going to set the boundaries and they are going to protect themselves and their loved ones. I also think that this dear person is very intuitive, someone who has a lot of intuitive gifts and intuitive insight. I do think that for some, this dear person has very meaningful prophetic type dreams. And this is somebody that can really read energy, not only in other people, but also the energy of just an environment and just the energy in general. I think this is somebody who is very sensitive. For some, this person may identify as an empath. For others, this person could identify as a highly sensitive person. And for others, there's no label that they give themselves, but this is somebody who is absolutely in tune and up to date and really willing and able and ready to kind of just figure out what's going on, get to the bottom of it, and act from, make decisions from that place of knowing. And I also think that this dear person is very wise, very patient. And I also think that there's a very powerful energy to this person that most people would not expect at first glance, that most people would not expect when they first meet this dear person, because there is a lot of strength. There is almost an undercurrent of like powerful energy that this person has. But if you look at them, like the first time that you meet them, the first time that you get to know them, they appear to be a lot softer than what they actually are. And don't get me wrong, this dear person can be very soft, very loving, very inviting. But again, there's something underneath the surface that just kind of lurks there. And if provoked, will come out. I will even say lash out to some degree. I do think for most, this dear person is going to be more of an introvert. At the very least, this is somebody who needs time to go within and time to really reconnect with self. And this is someone that knows the importance of waiting. And again, very patient. This person is not going to rush into anything. This person cannot be rushed into anything. But let's talk about this cosmic egg. Let's talk about this future love, future spouse, who this person is. Because what's interesting here is that your person, pile number one, if you are the deer and your person is the cosmic egg, or you, if you are identifying as a cosmic egg, this person is being represented by two spirit cards, right? So this person is being represented by more of like mythical energy than an animal that we would see necessarily in day-to-day life, or that we would be more familiar with. And we also have that belong card. And what's interesting is that I feel like this is somebody who has gone through life seeking and trying to find their place and their purpose in the world. I do feel that about your future spouse. I do think this cosmic egg person is constantly on a journey of self improvement and self discovery. But also, I do think this is somebody who really enjoys like going deep. This feels like somebody who would be very much into just like philosophy and thinking about the bigger meaning of life and thinking about, the great mysteries of life. This is somebody who wants to know more and wants to have a lot of knowledge. I do feel like this person that is coming in for you, or you, depending on where you fall into this, but this cosmic egg person is like the type of person that is always wondering, like, I wonder what really happened here, or what it would have been like to be alive during this time, or they're wondering if Atlantis is real. They're wondering, about Pompeii. They're wondering about, again, the greater mysteries of life. And I do think this person may have very unique interests. And I will say, I do think this is somebody who likes to dive deep and probably is into, like, again, philosophy, history. They really like to explore and wonder. And this is the type of person that when they watch a movie or a TV show or they read a book, they want to wonder beyond what is shown, right? Like, what would have happened? What would this person do? What would this character do in this situation? And I think a big drive for your future spouse, pile number one, is just knowing more and gaining more knowledge. And I also think that this is someone that self realization is so important to them, and making sure that they are constantly growing is also something that is very important to them. This is somebody who is very accountable and self aware, but I also think that at the same time, they're quite able to hold other people accountable. So, this isn't the type of person that you're going to cross them and then it's going to be forgotten, right? Like, they want the apology, they want to see how it's going to change. And I also think that one thing that you both have in common is that you have very strong boundaries, and there's things that you will not accept, and that doesn't mean that you have hatred for anyone, but that does mean that you are willing to walk away from certain people in the pursuit of honoring yourself and living your best life. And that goes for both of these people. I think for both of them, that's going to be extremely important. And I think both of these people are people that are willing to cut you off if you keep doing the same thing. And like, they will give you a warning, right? Both of these people will give a warning. But if nothing changes, they are going to take action. Now, I also think that one thing about your future spouse is that this is somebody who has gone through a lot of emotional healing. I have to say, I don't think this is somebody that had an easy childhood for most of you. This is probably somebody that went through some level of challenge, obstacle, difficulty growing up. This doesn't feel like they had the ideal home, but this also feels like that hasn't stopped them and they want to be the best version of themselves. And one thing that this cosmic egg person really values is feeling at peace, feeling like they are where they belong, and feeling like the people in their life add peace and harmony into their life. So, again, if somebody's coming in with drama, if somebody's coming in and causing troubles, this cosmic egg person is not going to keep them around because they've been through that. They don't want to live in that. This isn't somebody that likes gossip. This isn't somebody that likes drama. This isn't somebody that likes just all of that, like, chaos, right? They need peace. They need quiet. And they are going to take care of that for themselves. Like, they are really going to make sure that they are honoring their needs, as they pick their partner, their friendships, and even their environment. But pile number one, if that sounds like you, if that sounds like somebody that you would date, stick around. We're going to get started here. So we're going to start by, we're doing a day in the life, right, with your future spouse. So we're going to start by looking at when you wake up together, what is the energy between you two? Because we're dropping in on a random day, and we're going to try and get more information on what this day is. But when my pile number ones wake up together, right, when my pile number one wakes up with their future spouse, what's the energy between them two as the day begins? What's the energy between these two as the day begins? You know what? I was gonna. Okay. We got that was way more than I was gonna get. Three of Cups. All right, Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Very interesting. We had this Nine of Swords kind of fall out. I want to see what else is here before we talk about that Nine of Swords. Let's see what else is here. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And finally, we have the Six of Pentacles. This is very interesting energy. So pile number one, a day in the life is already starting very interestingly for this group, because I think the day that we're dropping into, as far as waking up, I do think there's a little bit of like a hectic energy here. To me, this is talking about, this is possibly a day where you both have to go work, where you both have to run errands, where you both have to kind of take care of business. I do think you both wake up a little bit tired, but I also think that there is this energy of We are working towards something together. We have these goals, we have these things that we want to get done. So we are a bit exhausted, but it's time to face the day and it's time to make the best of it. I do think that when you wake up on this day that we're kind of dropping in on, there is a little bit of just like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I could use a day off. I'm almost wondering if for some of you, and we're gonna get more into this as the reading goes by, but I'm wondering if for some of you it's because like maybe you have kids, maybe you have, a lot of responsibilities on this specific day, but there is a level of like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but we are together, we can face the world together, and it's just one more day towards our bigger goal. And we are going to look at what the goal that's being worked on is, because I do think for this group specifically, there's something that is of focus, there's something that you're both working towards. And I have to say, I think for some of you this is a little bit of like a chaotic, like, I'm exhausted, we have kids, we have to take care of work, we have to take care of the kids, we have to make sure everything is done, and it's just a little bit tired. So it's funny that we're dropping into this and the first energy that's coming through is just like we're tired, but at the bottom of the deck, that 3 of cups. So that like mutual understanding, that mutual friendship and love that you both have, right? Where it's not even friendship, but like this group, right? We are a team, we are a partnership. So we're grateful for being together. We're grateful that we're starting out the day together. But also, I'm tired, you're tired, but we have to keep going. We have to push through. And there is, I think, at the very beginning of the day here, with the 6 of Pentacles and this 8 of Pentacles, it's like you both either come up with a outline of like, you're gonna take the kids, or you're gonna take the dogs, or you're gonna go to work and I'm going to clean the house, or we're both gonna go to work and then we're both gonna come back. Like, there is a teamwork of both of you coming up with how you are going to move forward as you kind of go through the day, and what the plan for the day is. And it's a very like, together we're going to do it this way type of approach. I also think that both of you are very clear on, this is why we're doing this and this is why we have to do this. And there is an appreciation here of the day, even though, it's a bit of an exhausted energy that's coming through. Let's take a look at the small gesture. So for my pile number ones, what is the small gesture, something small and sweet that makes you feel loved and seen? What is the small gesture of this day? Let's see what we have here. Pile number one, bottom of the deck, the Judgment card. Very interesting. Let's see what else we have. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Empress. And we have the 2 of Cups. One thing that I think is a small gesture that is very meaningful. I said this from the beginning when we saw like how you're going to start out the day. I do think that this is like a time period that we're dropping in where there's a lot going on. It's very busy, it's very hectic, but also it's kind of all of that in the best way possible. And I think a small gesture that is really going to warm your heart, and something that you're going to remember going forward, is your future spouse is going to have like very beautiful words. And I think this could be a simple like, I love you, I care about you, I'm so glad you're my partner, I'm so glad we're doing this together. Or it could be something even a little bit deeper than that, where they're really kind of giving you more than just like a few short sentences. But it does feel like the way that your future spouse communicates with you, the way that they show up and like they look at you and they see how beautiful you are, how they are so lucky to have you. And this person is not only looking at you with those eyes of love, and I know you know what I mean by that, when like you can see the love that someone feels, the admiration, the attraction that someone feels just by the way that they're looking at the other person. When you see all of that, just by looking into their eyes, but this person is also putting it into words. This person is also really appreciating you and telling you about it and using words of affirmation. And I do think that this is somebody who's going to like also just make sure that they're doing like little touches, that they're doing like physical touch, all the things here. And it could be an act of service as well, because for some of you, I kind of feel like this would be during like breakfast or coffee time, or like we're about to run out, but like let me just tell you this, let me text you this really quickly. For most of you, this is this person telling you this, face to face. But I do think it's them reminding you that they're so lucky to have you in their life, and that they love you and they care about you. And they're so happy that you're both together on this adventure. And I do want to say, for some of you, because the Empress is here, and I'm already feeling this intuitively, and we're going to get more into it. But for some of you, this day that we're dropping in, it could be that there are small children involved. It could also be there's a pregnancy, or a pregnancy and a small child. Like for some of you, for a good amount of you, actually, if I'm being honest, there's a little bit of hectic energy to it, but it's because you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with like daily responsibilities, not because there's any issues in the relationship itself. But let's take a look at what is the atmosphere here. So, what is the emotional aesthetic vibe of the environment? Anything that we need to know about just the atmosphere that you are both in in this day? Like what's going on for you in this day that we're looking into? Bottom of the deck, we have this 5 of Cups being here. We also have the 4 of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords. See, there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on, but I don't feel like this is within the relationship. It feels like the relationship is fine. It's just like a hectic time. So I think emotionally speaking, there's just a lot of exhaustion. That's really what I'm getting. What's interesting here is we have the 5 of Cups, which can be a card of like disappointment. It can be a card of like sadness, or just like crying over spilled milk, or more so the 5 of Cups can absolutely be a card of like, I'm thinking about the past and I'm remembering what was, and almost like romanticizing what was in a way. And we have the 3 of Swords, which can be a card of just like, sadness, pain, grief, all of those things. But we also have the 4 of Wands, which is a card of celebration, and it's a card of joy and happiness, and it's the marriage card. And we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is a very nurturing energy and a very stable, confident, and secure energy. So I really think that the atmosphere, emotionally speaking, there's like mixed emotions on this day, because I do think there is like I just wish we could stay home, we can stay in bed, and I just wish like it was more relaxing. But again, this feels like there's a little bit of chaos. This feels like there's a lot going on. To me, this almost feels like a family dealing with like small kids, work, school activities, or daycare whatever it is. It just feels like, we've got so much going on. We're running around trying to get everything together. And there is a level of like, man, I miss the old times where it was like more relaxing, but also I wouldn't give this up for the world. Somebody here is absolutely in mom mode. Like I'm just running around. I'm trying to get things done. I'm trying to make sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be at, and also where I'm supposed to be at, because I do think there is like a lot going on in this day. And there is, again, that exhaustion piece, but I think it's also a, man, I'm exhausted, man, this is hard, but man, do I love this. Like, this is what I wanted, this is what I'm working hard for, and I know that this isn't going to last a very long time, right? We have the Emperor here, so trying to keep things together, trying to do what needs to be done. And also knowing that, I'm happy to be able to be here. I'm happy that this is my life and that this is my experience, even though it's not necessarily ideal in the level of how busy I am, everything that's going on. And I want to say, pile number one, it's very interesting that for you, this is the day that wanted to come through, because I think for some of you, maybe it's you're already, kind of dealing with some of this, and it's like, I would love to have a partner to help me out with this. Or for others of you, it could be that you're completely single and you are looking forward to having the family. You are looking forward to having the chaos that comes with pets and children and a partner and having to do all those things. And it's very bittersweet because there is that level of like, I just want to rest, but also that sweetness of, I am so happy that this is my life, and that even though it's hard right now, that I get to do this. So let's take a look at, goodness, terrible shuffle. Let's do that one more time. But we're going to take a look at your communication throughout the day. So what does your communication with your future spouse look like throughout the day? What is this communication throughout the day for my pile number ones? Bottom of the deck, we have that Three of Cups. You guys really enjoy like banter with one another. You guys really enjoy like talking about all the things. Like I could see, we're going to see what's here, but I could see some of this being like, did you hear? Or like, so and so at work, this happened. Or like, I just heard about this. Or look at this place that we can check out when things get, a little easier. Let's take a look. We have that Seven of Swords. We have the Page of Pentacles. And we have the Six of Swords. So pile number one, I do think for you and your future spouse, there are a lot of check-ins throughout the day. I do think a lot of your communication throughout the day happens in text messages, not because you're sitting in the same house, not wanting to talk to one another, but because I think you're both very busy and out and about, and it's like really some text messages, like just checking in. I also think that you both really confide in one another, which is why that Seven of Swords is here. And you really talk to each other about like very mundane things. It's not like you have to wait for something very big to happen, or for you to, for you to have to say something to your future spouse. This feels more of like, I just want to share with you what I saw. I just want to share with you something that happened at work. A lot of this is both of you helping each other get through the day, especially like during the workday. I do feel like you guys do a lot of check-ins, a lot of like, this just happened again, like this just happened. This is what so and so did. Don't forget this. Look at this place. Look at what I just heard. Like, it's like, look at the news. There's a lot of that, and it really helps you both get through the day. And it feels almost a little bit sneaky as well, as far as like, maybe you're not supposed to be on the phone as much. And that is how you kind of keep connected, especially during a very hectic time in your relationship, in your marriage. And for some of you, take it as it resonates. For some of you, there are some like very flirty X-rated text messages, or at least maybe R-rated text messages that happen throughout the day. But I also think it's so much more than that. So let's take a look at a moment that defines the day. So what is something to remember about this day? What is a moment that defines the day for my pile number ones? A moment that defines the day. Bottom of the deck, we have the World card. Let's see what else we have. We also have the King of Wands. We have the Page of Wands, and we have the Page of Swords. So what's interesting, I think that part of what defines the day for you guys, or like at least a moment to remember from this day, is the fact that both of you have to get so creative throughout the day. This is really just both of you showing up and saying, like, we have to make it to the end of the day and we have to get creative. So, we're going to create connection between us by texting one another. We're also going to make it a point to come home and have some sort of connection. I really think for both of you, it's how well you work together and your ability to keep yourselves like upbeat and positive and get to the end of the day, even though when it's a hectic day. And again, it's very interesting that for this pile, the day that we are kind of dropping in on, the day that we're taking a look at, is not a day where everything is perfect, but it's truly a day where it feels like things are just hectic. But at the same time, you're both devoted and committed to getting through it together. And there's something so powerful in that. And I think in this day, a lot of what's going to stand out, or something that is really going to define the day, is your communication and your dedication to one another and to the life that you have built and the family that you have together, for those of you where that is going to apply. And I'm almost hearing like another one in the books, right? Like this is another one in the books. We got through it. It was exhausting, but here we are. And I think something that is really going to define the day is like once we get home, once we reconnect, once everything kind of quiets down, it's bedtime, having that time to connect with one another and having that time to like ground and center and just call it a night and be able to like cuddle in bed or just, fall asleep in each other's arms because I do think this is a day where it's hectic. It's just we're calling it a day as soon as we get in, or we may turn on a show or a movie, but like minutes into it, we're going to be sleeping. We're going to be knocked out cuz we are exhausted. So, what is something that you're both focused on for the future during this day? What is something that you're both focused on for the future during this day? Bottom of the deck, the High Priestess. Let's see what was that. Okay, the High Priestess, underneath the High Priestess, the Queen of Wands. We also have the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the King of Cups. So I think that you're both focused on first of all, I do think there is a goal for both of you that you're both working towards, whether that is like we want to buy a house, we want to pay something off, we want to we want to just raise these kids and get them to the age of X, Y, and Z. Like we just want to get to the point where it's not as hectic. There is some sort of goal that you're both working on. But I also think that in addition to that, something that you're both focused on is making sure that you are both individually okay and doing well and thriving and, taken care of, but also as a couple that you are both thriving and being able to get to the next leg of the journey, to the next chapter of your lives together. So I do think for both of you, it's, you're both focused on, is my person okay? Am I okay, right? Are we both okay individually? But also emotionally. As a couple, how is the health of our relationship? Because this is a very busy season in our lives. This is a very transformative season in our lives. So making sure that we are getting through it and that we are getting to the next chapter and that everything is okay, again, individually, but between us as a couple, the health of each other as individuals, but also the health of us together as a couple, making sure that everything is okay and that we're making it to that next chapter, right? Whether it's that next chapter, we pay something off and we can retire early, or we save up enough money and somebody doesn't have to work multiple jobs, or it's, we have children, we have young children, and when they get to school, it's not going to be as hectic. When they get to high school, it's not going to be as hectic. When they get to middle school, whatever it is, whatever that um milestone is part of the focus, but the bigger focus is making sure that you both reach that milestone individually okay and thriving, but your relationship especially being okay and thriving as you move through that chapter. And checking in, I think, is going to be something that you both do, of like, are you exhausted? Is there something that I can take from your plate today? Or, you know what, today I'm exhausted. Maybe you can grab this and take this from my plate. Or let's have a date night. Let's make sure that we plan this out at least once a month to make sure that our relationship is where it needs to be. So the focus is individually, but also together. And it's not so much on the goal itself, but on making sure that you don't lose yourselves and the relationship along the way. So, dinner time. How do you begin to wind down the day? So, for dinner time, what do we need to know about dinner time here? How do my pile number ones begin to wind down the day here? We're dropping in at dinner. Let's see what we have. Bottom of the deck, the Ace of Pentacles. And it does feel like dinner time is where there is a lot of like grounding back in, coming back to, the moment and kind of going back in. Knight of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and the Sun card. So that's the thing, pile number one. Even though there's a lot happening, even though it does feel slightly hectic, there is a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, and a lot of just you two being a team and tackling everything as it needs to, right? So this feels like if this is a night where you are both, I shouldn't say both because that isn't necessarily the truth for everyone, but if this is a day where you are both making dinner or one of you is making dinner, then you're working as a team. This is also talking about like dinner time is where you both begin to kind of set aside the busy day, the work, right? So let's sit at the table together. Let's talk about our day. Let's just unwind together and do the best to relax, because we know tomorrow may be another hectic day, right? Maybe this is a Monday and tomorrow is a Tuesday and there's still school and there's still work and there's still all of these responsibilities. But I do think one thing is, and I have to say, for my pile number ones, I think for most of you, one of the things that you are going to do for dinner or like to end the day is make sure that you eat together, whether that is at the dining room table or whether that is, we're just going to kind of grab a plate and sit somewhere. Maybe it's a nice day and we go outside and we sit there and we have some food there, or maybe we go out to eat. But it does feel like dinner time is the time where, all right, let's bring it back together. Let's reconnect. And if there are kids involved, let's bring the kids in. If there are pets, let's bring the pets in. Like, let's really reconnect, ground, center, bring ourselves together. And there is a level of that was hectic. I'm exhausted. I'm tired, but also I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. I am grateful to be here with the people that I love, right? Not only my partner, but in some cases, some kids, some maybe extended family coming through here. Take it as it resonates, but that like this was a good day. And now I get to relax with my loved ones. So let's take a look at the final glance before sleep. So what's exchange between falling asleep between the two of you? Just energetically, emotionally, physically. This is not an 18 plus reading. I do have one on Patreon for free. Check that out. The link is below and you will find it. It's just, I couldn't post it on YouTube without having some issues because of the cards used and the things that are said, but you can check that out if you're interested and if you haven't seen it. All right, so what is the final glance of this day that we need to have, or what we need to know? Bottom of the deck, we have that Five of Cups again. Very interesting. Then we have the Hanged Man, the Tower, and Strength card. Pile number one, I really do think, because I'm never going to lie to you. If you've been watching the channel, if you've been seeing the readings, I've said things that have gotten me in some trouble because people didn't want to hear it. And I will always say it because guess what? That's what the reading is for. I truly feel like for this group, a lot of these cards are just talking about, you know what? This is a break, right? Like this, let's go to sleep because tomorrow is going to be another chaotic day. Let's cuddle in and take this nap, or for some of you it's going to feel like a nap, which is crazy because this is like the end of the night, but it feels like it's not enough sleep because tomorrow we have to tackle this crazy life that we have chosen. But we chose it, we love it, and it's just the season. It's just the season. And I do think that this is a night where it's like, let's just go to sleep. I'm exhausted, you're exhausted, let's just go to sleep. We just need sleep. I would not be surprised if this is a day in the life of like two people that have very young children, and I think it's more than one. I would say it's like a toddler and like a newborn type of energy here on this day that we're dropping into. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't want children and you're like, nope, that's not me, this could just be chaotic in a different way. Maybe this is like we have to work a couple of jobs because we have a very clear goal that we want to meet. Or maybe it's we have a new puppy and the puppy is being chaotic and, you know, this is our child and we can't sleep and we can't do the things and we have to go to work. But it does feel like a very chaotic time in the story of your life, but it also feels like one of those days where when you have an empty nest or when you are retired and sitting back, you look back on this day and it's one of those defining moments, like days like this, I should say, because I think there's a lot of days like this, right? Not years worth, but there are some days like this that you're going to go through. And you look back and you realize like those types of days is what cemented this, right? Like we really loved each other. We really cared, but like we made it through those like hectic, chaotic days. And that's how we got to where we are today. And I do think that there is an end to a means, right? I'm sorry. This is a means to an end. There we go. This is a means to an end where whatever it is that's going on, you both in some way choose this chaos and you're going to get to the other side of that chaos. I'm actually really glad that this day, like this type of day came through because I was expecting that this reading was going to be like all like happy, everything is perfect days. And this is happiness, but this is like everything. This feels like a real day. All right, let's take a look at what is a message your future spouse has for you right now. Queen of Swords, the Devil card, the Magician card, the Ace of Pentacles. So whether you know your future spouse or not, I really think this is a sweet message because I don't think this message is necessarily about the relationship. This feels like your future spouse's higher self coming through with a message for you that is meant to encourage you. What your future spouse wants you to know, pile number one, is that you are unstoppable, that you are able to achieve and accomplish all that you desire, that there is nothing that you want or desire that you cannot attain, And your future spouse wants you to work for what you want, knowing that there are no limitations, knowing that there is no obstacle that is going to get in your way. And your future spouse is saying, please don't doubt yourself and don't doubt your ability to create and manifest. And your future spouse also wants you to know that you are connected to each other, that you can send messages to your future spouse and that they will receive it. And that your future spouse's higher self is your number one cheerleader. And that you're doing great. And that this person loves you. This person's higher self is coming through with that message of, I just love you and I'm so proud of you. And keep going. And for those of you that haven't met yet, your future spouse is saying, don't doubt that this is going to happen, because you and I are unstoppable. And we are absolutely going to connect. And your future spouse wants you to take care of yourself the way that they want to take care of you. And they want you to love yourself the way that they're going to love you. So honor yourself, pile number 1. Let's take a look at what we have here. So we're going to start with these two. So we have playfulness, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And we also have honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. And I will say, pile number 1, you and your future spouse, I think one thing you'll never lose is that sense of like flirty playfulness. We are always connected to one another and we're always going to really like hold space for one another. And I also think that this is speaking to, like, with this honeymoon card, even on the hardest days, you're going to find ways to connect to one another. Let's see what else we have here. So we have protected, you are safe and divinely guided. So that is a message here for you. Stability, this relationship can stand the test of time. And that's the thing. For those of you that may be listening to this and it's like a little scary that, you know, this doesn't sound like the perfect day. This sounds a little bit chaotic. Just know that this relationship will stand the test of time. And then we have new love. A new love, a recommitment to love is developing. So for those of you that are single, just know that someone is coming in for you. And I do think for most of you, this is going to be somebody that is new in your life, or somebody who's coming in with new energy. Like, even if you knew them, they are coming in like a completely different vibe to them. Let's see what else we have. Patience. Some things still need to be dealt with for this connection to manifest. So for some of you, if you're growing impatient, just know that it's working itself out. Then we have leave your fears behind. They are stopping this relationship from blossoming. So if you have any fears that it's not going to happen, or you have fears of when it's going to happen, just trusting the process, right? Coming through. And then we have open your eyes. If someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So for some of you, if there is somebody in your life and they're being sketchy, let's put it that way, or they're not walking the talk, like they're telling you one thing, but they're showing you something else, or they're not really what you need them to be, just trust and believe them. And for some of you, it may be that once you walk away from someone that you're holding on to, if it's not working, if you know in your heart that person is not for you, then this new person comes in. But pile number 1, that is what I have for you. This was such a very interesting reading. Your affirmation for the week: I trust myself on this journey of love. I trust myself on this journey of love. I think that's the perfect affirmation for you going forward through this week. If you want to use it, claim it in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things help me out so much. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Stay tuned for the next poll. I will be posting that very shortly. Also, if you have a suggestion for the next pick a card reading, drop it in the comments section below. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the sticker with the Princess Bride, and that is Wesley and Buttercup. So, as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is timestamped below, that I highly, highly suggest that you check out, because it's going to tell you exactly what's going to be covered and the format and everything that you need to know to decide if this is the right reading for you. So we are going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse, future love is. My intention is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your future love, future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies can be flip-flopped, but if you don't identify as this person or this person, this is probably not your reading, or your pile, I should say. So try choosing a different pile. And I do want to mention, sometimes what you will find is that you resonate with both sides, and that can be because typically when we are talking about a soulmate and somebody that we are, connecting with, there is a level of mirroring, there is a level of a lot in common with that person. But let's get started. Let's see what we have here. So person number 1, we have the Lamb. And I dropped that. 1 second. All right, that was the Lizard that fell over there. And then we have Wisdom. And for person number 2, we have, the Phoenix, the Firefly, and finally we have Decision. So pile number 2, let's talk about it. So on the left, we have the Lamb person. On the right, we have the Phoenix person. That is how I'm going to refer to these two, just to make it simple and to the point, hopefully. So with the Lamb, in this deck, the Lamb is represented by the element of Earth. So I was going to say Gemini for some reason. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And then we have the Lizard here in this deck, being represented by fire, actually, which is very interesting. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius represented, and we'll talk about the Phoenix person when we get there. But for this Lamb person, let's start here and then we'll work our way back, over towards the Phoenix person. But for this Lamb person, this is somebody who is very peaceful and very, this is the type of person that is the peacekeeper in a situation or in a group or in a community. I do think this Lamb person is very kind, very loving, very just gentle. There's something very gentle about the Lamb person. I also think that the Lamb person appears younger than what they are, and I'm not talking about like a maturity level, I'm just talking about physically. It feels like the Lamb person, for most, this is somebody who's going to look a lot younger than what they are. There's something about them that feels like very just youthful in the appearance, regardless of age. I also think that the Lamb person has a very strong inner child, and that this person can have like a very childlike energy to them, regardless of age. This could be somebody who really has a lot of like fun hobbies, or somebody who has almost like a childlike energy in their approach and in their enthusiasm. I also think that this Lamb person is someone that can be quite timid at times, or this could be somebody that's a little bit shy. And even if this person is not shy as they get older, as they grow up, if you will, I do feel this Lamb person probably had some sort of spell, right, where they were a bit shy, a bit timid, a bit reserved. I also think that this lamb person is someone who is very wise, very intelligent, but especially wise. I would not be surprised of if this person, when they were younger, especially as a child, they were kind of described as an old soul, and that could absolutely be something that they're still described as. But I also think that there is an element here of people not really realizing just how wise the lamb person is, because I do think that this person has a very youthful energy to them, and sometimes that helps people kind of write them off and think that they know better than the lamb person, or that the lamb person isn't as what's the word I want to use here? I think sometimes the lamb person, or at least from the perception of other people, it could be that the lamb person doesn't come across as sure or as confident within themselves and their abilities as they could be, right? Like, even if this is somebody who's very confident, I think from the outside looking in, especially if somebody meets you for the first time, or someone is like connecting with this lamb person for the first time, there's absolutely this like, like maybe they're not as confident, maybe they're not as secure within themselves. That's coming through. But I do think that for most, this lamb person has done a lot of work in order to feel confident within themselves and to feel confident about who they are and where they are at in life. I also think that the lamb person is very good at listening to other people. This is somebody that you can sit with and talk with, and they are going to not only offer you a helping hand, but this is the type of person that is not just going to give advice that is unwanted. This is the type of person that's going to say, do you want advice? Do you want me to just sit and listen? Do you want me to just sit here and help you feel seen, help you feel heard? Or do you need my advice? Do you need practical help? This is someone that is very good about communicating and figuring out what other people need, because I do think that the lamb person is very intuitive, but also very instinctual. This person does also have a very artistic side, whether that is like expressed through music, through, drawing, painting, writing, whatever it is. I do think for most, this lamb person has some sort of artistic side, artistic endeavor that they partake in. And I also think that the lamb person is very spiritual. I would say the lamb person is more of an introvert. At the very least, this is somebody who needs some time to go within. For some, this person thrives at night. This person, like, this could be somebody that goes to sleep really late, or they have like their best ideas late at night. Take that if it resonates for you. But let's talk about the Phoenix person. So when we talk about this Phoenix person, which in my, again, I intended for this to be your future spouse, future love, but this Phoenix person, the Phoenix card in this deck represents all 12 signs. It's it's more of a mythological creature, so all 12 signs are represented. The Firefly is here with air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's talk about who this person is. So I do think this Phoenix person is someone that is constantly reinventing themselves and constantly going through some sort of death and rebirth cycle. This is someone that is always focused on being the best version of themselves, and they're always working on improving themselves and improving their understanding of the world around them. This also feels like someone that feels things very deeply. I do get that very strongly. Like, this Phoenix person feels things very deeply. And this is someone that has to, if they get worked up, this person does have to take a little bit of a break and a little bit of a step back and kind of ground and center themselves, because I do think This is someone that has very intense emotions, not in a negative way, not in a way that this person is like, going to go into a rage and hurt someone. But I do think this person, when they are feeling their feelings, they feel them very passionately, very deeply. And sometimes this person just needs to take a little bit of a time out to kind of reconnect to self. I also think that this is someone that is always looking for ways to grow and expand their knowledge of self, but also their knowledge of human nature as a whole. I would not be surprised if this Phoenix person works in something that has to do with psychology, or if this person has a deep interest in the field of psychology in some way. This could be somebody that really enjoys talking about like personality types. This could be somebody who's a therapist, a coach, a counselor. This could be a psychiatrist, a psychologist. This could be someone, again, that just has an interest on really peeling back what triggers people and what makes people tick, and how people think, how people feel, how people express themselves. I also think that one thing that really bothers this Phoenix person is stagnancy. So when things aren't moving, when things aren't progressing, this person tends to become very, very uncomfortable. And I do think a big thing for this person is to make sure that they are constantly moving towards something bigger, something better, something to achieve. This is someone that has a lot of goals, a lot of things that they want to create in their life, and a lot of things that they want to experience in their life. And I will also say, I do think that this Phoenix person also has some sort of creative endeavor that they partake in. This could be someone who is a writer, a draw, like is into drawing, painting. It could even be something like just coloring. This person could be into music, though I would say for the Phoenix, writing could be very significant. At the very least, I do think that this person is very good with using words and manifesting through affirmations and through the use of either the written word or the spoken word, or obviously both. But I do think that this Phoenix person is also someone who, they need some sort of outlet in order to get things out and to get things moving and to get the energy going. Like, this feels like somebody that has to have some form of self-expression in order to feel good, and in order to be grounded in the present moment. And I do think that for the Phoenix person, one of the things that they really try to avoid is stagnancy. And one of the things that they really struggle with is not feeling, right? So this is somebody that, like, if they were dealing with like depression, that would be very unsettling for them, because they're so used to feeling things so deeply and so intensely. And I would not be surprised if this person has like a Venus in like Scorpio or heavy Scorpio placements. It could be heavy water placements, even though I'm not, obviously, we're not necessarily seeing water being called out. But that Phoenix card does represent all 12 zodiac signs. But I would not be surprised if this person has maybe not like sun, moon, rising, but to some extent, I do think this person has maybe like a Venus in a water sign, or they have some sort of strong water placement that really activates their emotional side. And it could be a moon in like Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, but take that as it resonates. So, pile number 2, let's jump into it. So, we're going to be looking at a day in the life between you and your future spouse. So, we're going to start by looking at when you wake up together on this day. What's the energy between the two of you? And we're going to see what kind of day wants to come through. So, when you wake up together, when my pile number 2s wake up together, what is the energy between these two as the day begins? What's the energy between these two as the day begins? For my pile number twos. All right, pile number two, let's go. So Empress. Okay, we are waking up. Okay. We're already waking up. Just okay. Seven of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. And then we have the Two of Wands. So we have blank space, we have welcome to New York, and we have stay, stay, stay over there. So pile number two, when you start the day, right, the energy between you and your future spouse as you start the day, we have, I forgot to mention, long live is on the Empress card, but we have quite a bit of like an interesting energy, if you will, because we have the Empress card, and I think this is speaking to you both have this sense of just excitement and like this positive, upbeat energy when you wake up. And there's a sense of happiness and contentment that you are waking up together. We also have the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Two of Wands. And I think this is speaking to when you wake up on this day, right? Because we're looking at a specific day in the life with your future spouse. I think when you wake up on this day, there is an element of like just excitement, and there's a lot of love. I absolutely think there's a lot of love in the air. There's a lot of caring for one another. There is a lot of abundance that is felt by the fact that you are waking up together. But I also think that what's interesting with the Seven of Pentacles being here is that this really feels like these are the fruits of my labor. This is what I get. This is like a blessing. And I get to wake up next to my person. I get to start the day with my person. And I get to, not only spend the day, right? But I get to spend my life with this person. This is the person I chose. This person chose me back. And we are living the life. We are living the dream. Because we also have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands, and both of these cards are speaking to just excitement, right? I do think that the day that we're going to be looking into has a level of excitement. This could be a day that you guys are going to be going on a trip. This could be a day where you are exploring one another. This could be a day where it's something out of the norm. It's something that isn't like part of everyday routine. At least that is the expectation as you wake up together, as you begin to explore together. There is that energy here of like, yes, today is a new day. I'm excited. I'm blessed to wake up with this person, and I am so happy. And it feels like everything that I've done, all of this hard work, all of this investment into this relationship feels really good, and it feels like a blessing. But also it feels like when you wake up on this specific day, there is a level of like, you know what, we're going to do something new. We're going to do something exciting, something out of the norm. So I'm very excited to see what this day is going to be like. Let's keep going here. Let's look at a small gesture, something small, sweet that your future spouse is going to do to make you feel loved and seen. Sorry, I was looking at my notes to know what I was going to pull and didn't realize these cards are very slippery. I will say that. I'm going to try not to drop them all. But what is a small gesture that my pile number two's future spouse is going to do for them? Bottom of the deck, we have that Ace of Pentacles with Delegate. All right, pile number two, let's see here. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the Four of Wands, and we have the Seven of Swords. So pile number two, when it comes to something, a small gesture, I think that your future spouse, that your future love is someone that is very good at like physical touch and acts of service. So For some of you, this is this person coming in and like making you breakfast or getting you coffee. For others of you, this is this person like really taking something on and making sure that it's something that you don't have to do. So this could be like, you know what? Don't worry about, again, don't worry about the coffee. Don't worry about breakfast. Don't worry about having to take care of laundry. There's something that is very, I don't want to say like basic, but something that is very routine that this person is going to be kind of stepping in, that your future spouse is going to be stepping in and doing for you. Also, I do think that this is something that, like, throughout the day, your future spouse, your future love is going to make sure that they're doing things for you to make your day easier, to make you feel seen, and also to take some things off of your plate. So I do think that this is the type of person that is really going to just take something off of your plate in a way that it makes your day easy, and it makes like it's less that you have to do. So, for example, if on this day you're planning on going on a little adventure, whether it's like we're going on vacation, or we're just going on a little bit of a road trip, or we're just going to try a new restaurant, this person is going to wake up and make sure that, like, here, the coffee's ready, or like, don't worry about it. I ordered us some breakfast. Or do you need help packing? Or, you know what, I have a load in the washing machine, or I'm taking care of laundry, or like this person wants to make sure that they're being very helpful, and your future spouse wants to make sure that they are not adding to your plate, but that they are making you feel loved, that they're making your day easier for you. And also that you know that you are appreciated, that you know that this person is going to have your back always and forever. And I think that if you are having a tough day, or like it's just a tough morning and it's hard to like get the day going, part of what your future spouse is going to do is, I'm even seeing like a massage or like a back rub of some sort, or like a foot rub, just to get the day going and to get the day started here. These cards, I love them, but they're very thin. All right, so let's take a look at the atmosphere. So the emotional, aesthetic, right? It could be emotional, it could be aesthetic, it could be both. Vibe of this day. What is the atmosphere for my pile number 2s? On this day that we are looking into, what is the atmosphere? Bottom of the deck, the Nine of Pentacles with the last great American dynasty. And then we also have the Empress card. We did see the Empress card at the bottom of the deck at the beginning. We see the Queen of Swords with Mirror Ball. And finally, we see the Page of Pentacles with Endgame. So, pile number 2. When it comes to the atmosphere, I do think there is a lot of just comfort, love, and passion as far as where you are both at emotionally. I do think this does feel like, you know, again, that sense of abundance, that sense of I am exactly where I belong and my person is here with me and we are having the best time. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and today is going to be a good day. And I also think that there is a level of understanding that runs deep between you and your future spouse. And I also think that there is like almost like we don't have to say the words, we don't have to talk about certain things. We just get one another, we just get where we are at and what we need. So emotionally speaking, there is a lot of passion, there's a lot of chemistry between the two of you, but there's also a lot of comfort, a lot of understanding, and a lot of like, I can rely on this person and this person can rely on me. And I do think that you both are very like settled in, very comfortable with one another and the relationship and where you are at in the relationship. And I do think that this specific reading is picking up, obviously, on a day in the life with your future spouse. So this is after you are both in a relationship, after you are both married and connected in that way. But I also think when we're talking about like the aesthetic of the environment, whatever that looks like, the feeling that it evokes is comfort. The feeling that it evokes is warmth, and I'm home and I feel safe, right? I feel safe within my own skin. I feel safe with my partner, and I feel safe in the environment that we have built together. But I also feel blessed, right? I feel like I can conquer the world. I feel like there is nothing that we can't do together as a couple. And there's also a lot of patience with one another, and just that leaning in and feeling like everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. I'm going to move this over. So let's take a look at your communication throughout this day. So throughout the day, how do you communicate with one another? Throughout this day for my pile number twos, how do my pile number twos communicate with one another? Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles with soon you'll get better. The Two of Swords with back to December. We also have the High Priestess with the One. And we have the Knight of Cups with Speak Now. So pile number two, I think it's very interesting that we're getting this answer, because I do think throughout the day, you and your future spouse are going to be talking about quite a few things. First and foremost, there are like the basic routine type things and plans, right? So who's doing what are we doing, what do we need to get done? You know, somebody needs to either run to the grocery store, somebody needs to pack something, because I think for some of you, for some reason this is coming through, but for some of you on this day, you may be going like out either on a trip or out on like a little vacation, on a little getaway. So there is talk about like, you know, what are we doing? What's the plan? How are we going to get to where we have to be? Or for those of you that you may be staying in, it could be, you know, what's going to happen later? Who needs to do what? Is it time to, you know, do we need to renovate something? Do we need to go out to the market and get some food? Do we need to plan dinner? Are we going out? Like there's that basic level of let's just talk about what needs to be talked about. But we also have the High Priestess and the Knight of Cups here. And I do think there is a lot of flirting that goes on between you and your future spouse. And this Two of Swords is also representing both of you talking out, especially with this Queen of Pentacles combined with this Two of Swords. This is both of you talking out and talking about like, you know what, this is what needs to be taken care of right now. I need help deciding. I need help figuring things out. This could be both of you talking to come to an agreement as far as something that's going on with both of you in your home. This could also be like, you know what, I need some advice. What do you think that I have this thing going on at work, or I have this thing going on with a friend, or I have this thing going on with a family member? Like you both are talking things out. There is a lot of emotional support. And this is somebody that like you want your spouse's opinion. They want your opinion as well. But in between, you are going through those moments of like flirting, of like, you know, looking forward to spending time together. Like this feels like the type of relationship where, yes, you're talking about everything and it could be something heavy, but you both find ways to keep the romance alive, to keep the passion alive, to send that flirty text about what's going to happen later on tonight or over the weekend, or, you know, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to hug you. Or like, you know, I'm having a hard day, but also you look beautiful and I can't wait. Like something about, you know, this morning was great or this evening is going to be great. So there is that like balance that both of you are going to be experiencing in the communication of, let's talk about like these very real things that require our attention and require us to make choices, but also let's kind of flirt and let's have a good time and let's talk about us and what is going to be happening over the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months. I do think, again, for some of you, there is like some sort of trip or something that's coming up, because I'm almost feeling like for this group on this day, there's a lot happening, and part of that has to do with like planning for something. Yeah, that Three of Wands. I absolutely think that for some of you, this is a day where you are either going on a trip, going on a vacation, doing something different, or you will be very, very soon and you're dealing with the preparations for that. For some of you, you could be planning a vacation on this day, and that's part of what you're trying to figure out. Like, what's going to work for us? And where should we go? What should we book? What should we do? Let's take a look at a moment that is going to define this day that you're going to spend together. What is a defining moment during this day for my pile number 2s? Bottom of the deck, we have Justice with Karma. Let's do it that way. Then we have Strength with Willow. We also have the 10 of Pentacles with Christmas Tree Farm. And we have the 10 of Swords with Would've, Could've, Should've. So it's very interesting because I think that the defining moment, I want to see what's underneath here. The 5 of Wands. I do think that a defining moment for this day, or a moment that defines the day, is both of you coming together to get through the day. Whether it's, it's a busy day because we're going on vacation and there's like the hectic, it can get chaotic when you have to travel and you have to make sure that everything is left ready. Like if you have pets, you have a pet sitter, or you have to go take them somewhere. If you're traveling with kids, that is an adventure in and of itself. If you are, taking a trip, sometimes just the stress of having to travel together. Or maybe it's not even about like traveling. Maybe this is more about like, it's a rough day. We've had to make some choices. We've had to plan some renovations out. We've had to like invest time and energy into cleaning the place up, or planning a family dinner, or planning like a get together for friends and family. I do feel for most of you on this day, there's a lot happening and a lot that you are either preparing for day of, or that you are preparing for very, very soon. But I think that a moment that defines the day, with the Strength card, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Swords being here, is that no matter what, you both can work together to make it happen, to make it work, right? That you both have got each other's backs, and that because you have one another, you're going to be okay, and it's going to be okay, and things are going to work out, right? So I do think that this is a day where it's like, let's just focus and do what we have to do, because it's going to be great, but also we have to get through this a little bit like of a stressful piece. Or I shouldn't even say stressful. I think it's a little bit chaotic because there's a lot happening. And I think this 10 of Pentacles, especially with this 10 of Swords, is speaking to that sense of, I'm not alone, and I don't have to do things alone. I don't have to plan things alone. I don't have to make things work on my own. Like, I got this other person that's here. And it's almost like you both feel abundant because you both have each other. And there is something that is kind of like overwhelming, but it ends up working out exactly as it should. And you end up making it what you wanted to make it. So for those of you that this feels like, you know what, this is a day that we're probably going to be going on vacation. This is the realization of like, we planned this, we're going to make this happen. It's going to be good. It was stressful, but we got to the other side of it. And there's also that sense of, again, that support system that you both have in one another. That is very comforting. So let's take a look at what is something that you are both focused on for the future on this day. What is something that you are both focused on as far as the future? Bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. We also have the Seven of Wands with no body, no crime. We have the Four of Pentacles with dancing with our hands tied. And we have the Hangman with cardigan. Pile number 2. So I think that's something that you're focused on for the future as far as this day goes, right? Like whenever this day is for both of you. I think a big focus is making sure that you get some sort of break, making sure that I really do feel like this is, you are either about to go on a trip or you are planning a trip. You have a get together that you will be like hosting, or you are planning it together. Like this feels like a day where there's a lot happening and it involves something that is out of the ordinary. And for most of you, that is going to be a trip. But I think that what this is talking about as far as what is something that you're both focused on for the future, I think you both have a very like clear focus on what the end game is, what the final outcome is of what you are planning and what you are spending time on. I also think that there is a focus on making sure that everything goes off without any issues, that everything goes according to plan. And I also think that this is like, you know what, like we want this to be successful. We want this to work out, and we want to make sure that everything that we're planning, one, isn't going to, take all of our money and resources, but also we want it to be successful. We want it to be something to look forward to, something that is going to give us this satisfaction and this excitement that we want to experience. And also like just gratitude for the opportunity to do this, for the opportunity to see this through. And I also think a big focus is once this wraps up, then we can relax. Once this wraps up, then we can kind of take a deep breath in and just relax and let our shoulders down and enjoy the moment. And I also think that for both of you, there is a focus that like once whatever this is complete, we kind of just get to relax and we kind of just get to have a good time and enjoy things, especially enjoy the moment that we have created. And I think that's part of like the prize, right? That's part of why you're both doing it, because you both want this. This feels like self-care. Like it has a level of self-care attached to it. I actually want to ask for this group, what is going on this day? What exactly is going on this day before we move to the next question? I'm only going to pull 2 cards, but I want to know what is going on, because it feels like something kind of on the bigger side. The 7 of Cups with Out of the Woods. And then let's see what we have. The Queen of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. Yeah, for some of you, this is going to be travel. For others of you, this is spending time with loved ones. This is spending time with family, friends, hosting something, going somewhere. For some of you, this could be that you're going to an event. For others of you, you're hosting an event together. For others of you, it's you're taking a trip together. For some of you, a few of you, this could be a honeymoon that you are planning. Yeah, we have that. There's definitely a sense of like adventure with this and travel and going somewhere or doing something out of the ordinary. Let's take a look at dinner time. So, how you begin to wind down for the day. So, as this day begins to wrap up, what's happening for dinner? How do you begin to wind down for the day? Ace of Swords. I do think there is a little bit of a nightcap of like, let's talk things out. How was your day? How was my day? This is what's going on. The Page of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the Death card. So both of you are absolutely ready for like this night to be wrapped up, and both of you are in a place where you are ready for like, I'm ready for sleep. I'm ready to connect. I'm ready to just let this day go. It's been exhausting. I also do think that you're both going to, like, while you're having dinner, while you're getting ready to end the day, you will be talking to one another and kind of checking in about the day and like everything that you both got done. And, you know, like, this is what we did. This is how we did it. Aren't you glad? How are you feeling? This is how I'm feeling. I also think you're both exhausted at the end of this day, but I also think there's a lot of happiness here, right? That 10 of Cups. So that feeling of achievement, that feeling of emotional achievement, of connection. And I do think there, for some of you, there's like a little bit of like a makeout sesh to end the night here. We will get a final glance before bedtime or before sleep that we're going to be doing next. But I do think there is a level of just, oh, that was great. We did it. Or like, you know what? Here we are. We were at this new place. We had this get together, or we're closer to the travel date. We're closer to hosting this get together. And now we just get to enjoy each other's company and kind of just let the day fall away very intentionally. But I do think that you are both very happy with everything that you got done. And I also think that you're both like very excited as well on this journey that you're on, because this feels like a multi-day thing. Let's take a look at the final glance before sleep. So what is going on before sleep here? And this is not an 18 plus reading. There is one on Patreon, which is free. It's just sitting there because I can't post it on YouTube because of the cards and everything. If you haven't watched it, check it out. The link to Patreon is on the description box below, and it has like, it's free for everyone. You just have to click and you'll have access. So we have the Fool card, Page of Cups, Eight of Cups, Ace of Swords. So a final glance before sleep at this day is both of you. I do think this is a romantic day, and I do think for some of you, this really is like, we traveled somewhere and now we're settling in. We are kind of getting comfortable in our little vacation, and this is an opportunity to have almost like a new beginning, right? As far as like, tomorrow is a new day. We're in a new place. We're going to explore. We're going to have a good time. And I do think for some of you, you end this night in like either a very romantic place or a very romantic mood. And it could be both, right? Like, it could be, you know, it's very romantic as far as the place. We went somewhere, we traveled somewhere, we hosted something, and now everybody's gone and it's just the two of us. And we're just in this very romantic mood. I also think that this is speaking to, you know, right before bedtime, that, again, that talking. I do think for this group, like, talking things out, like making sure that you're going through the day, like, you really enjoy talking to one another, getting to know one another, communicating with one another, and like sharing. So a little bit of that. I will say for some of you, this is like sweet nothings just being whispered. a little bit of a makeout session. I said that earlier. But I also think that this is talking to just, oh, we did the thing. And now we get to approach this in a completely, like, we're either at this place or it's done and over with. We went to the thing, we went to the event, we had the get together, and now we get to focus on something else. So now we are excited. We did a great thing. We can go to sleep, and tomorrow is a brand new day. Yeah, with that Four of Swords, it's like we can now rest. We've done the thing. We've gotten to the place. We've completed the mission, the project, the thing that had to get done. And tomorrow is a new day that we can enjoy, that we can just explore, or we can focus on ourselves or something completely different here. I want to see what message your future spouse has for you. And this could be a message about this day. This could be a message in general. Let's see what message your future spouse has for you. Bottom of the deck, the Queen of Wands with New Romantics. Eight of Pentacles with Change. Queen of Cups with Marjorie. And Wheel of Fortune with Invisible String. So pile number 2, as far as like what message your future spouse has for you, I think that the message here is actually about this day. And I think that your future spouse's higher self wants you to know that this was like a day that you both had been working very hard towards and had been planning for a very long time. And you're getting a glimpse of this day because this is how well you work together. And this is also like one of those days that when you look back in like the grand scheme of the relationship and of your, marriage or partnership, whatever it is, however you want to call it, this is going to be a day that sticks out as like, remember that day that we were either traveling, or remember how, satisfied we were when we finally were able to go to the place or do the thing. I think for some of you, this may even be like a honeymoon or a second honeymoon that you're planning and going on together. And your future spouse is saying, this feels like a day that is going to really kind of change the relationship for the better, because it's going to challenge both of you to be there and to show up for each other in ways that perhaps you still hadn't gotten to that point, or you hadn't experienced before. I will say for this group, this specific day feels like a little bit earlier on in the relationship. I do think this is after you are married or like living with this person, but it doesn't feel like this is like 10 years into your relationship. This feels like earlier on. But let's see what we have here. So we have, keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So that is a message for you now, especially if you don't know who this person is. Let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. And I think that one thing that you and your future spouse are going to be learning is how to go with the flow. And I do think this is one of those days where it's like things were coming up, you had to deal with things, and it's best to just go with the flow. Let's see what else we have here. So we have retreat. Time alone or in nature will help you recharge. I do think pile number 2, that for some of you, this was a day where like you were either, again, traveling day of or planning to travel. We have forgiveness. Forgiving yourself or another will help you move forward. So with these cards, I did want to pick cards that were going to either give you a message about the relationship or a message that you needed to hear at this time for yourself. So take this one as it resonates. I do think for some of you, this is speaking about just giving yourself, grace as you go through certain events, and as you either prepare to meet and connect with your future spouse, or as you move towards the connection with your future spouse, if you already know them, just offering yourself grace, right? And then we have different pages. You and this person don't share the same vision. So pile number 2, if there is someone in your life and this person is not in the same place that you are at, or, things aren't really falling into place the way that you want them to, it could be that you are on different pages. And maybe that's why this is saying keep an open mind. If you have a very specific person that you think is your future spouse, but it's not, like this person is obviously not giving you what you need, then this could be a message for you that maybe there is somebody else out there for you. Only take that if that resonates. Only take that if you know someone and, like, deep down you do know that they can't give you what you want and desire. So that message is not for everyone. Let's see what else we have here. Free yourself. You don't need to be in control of everything for a love relationship to be successful. So now we have a little bit of that message coming up twice, right? Let go of control issues and free yourself. A little bit of that same message. So going with the flow, being more flexible. And I do think that this day that we kind of looked at really is going to be one of those days where it's about allowing yourself to be more flexible, allowing yourself to go with the flow, and having your partner there so that you can rely on them and they can rely on you. Then we have stop it. So we have let go of control issues, let go of the need to control, and free yourself. So allow the situation to unfold naturally. So for some of you, you don't need to know exactly what was happening in this day. It was more about the energy. Because I will say for this group, it feels like there was many different situations and it was very hard to pinpoint it to, like, this is a honeymoon, or this is you going on a trip, or this is you planning something. So that could also be a reminder that you don't have to know exactly how everything is going to unfold. In the same way that if you haven't met your person, or even if you have met them, you don't need to know exactly how everything is going to work out. You just have to trust that it will, and you have to do what feels right for you and follow your intuition to make sure that you are honoring yourself in the process. Final card here, we have past lives. You have known this person before. It is a soulmate from a past lifetime. So for those of you that wanted that confirmation, this is a soulmate. This is somebody that you have connected with in a past life. Also, I do think that when you meet your future spouse, or if you already know them, you're going to feel that connection. You're going to feel that sense of, this is my person. I feel like I've known them my whole life. I feel like this is the right person for me, and trust that. Also, for some of you, you may experience some form of dreams with your future spouse, either before you meet them or once you've met them, where you get a glimpse into a past life. But pile number 2, that is what I have for you. I'm thinking this is a very interesting one. You know what? Because it's here 3 times, we're going to use one of these, like basically one of these messages as your affirmation for the week. So pile number 2, I free myself from the need to be in control. All is well. I free myself. Right? So any variation of that, but I free myself of the need to be in control. Because all is well, pile number 2. Pile number 2, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me out so much. I appreciate you for being here. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. Also, stay tuned for the next poll. It should be up shortly. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Harvey Kinkle and Sabrina Spellman sticker, and I'm going to place that right over there. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is going to tell you exactly what's going to be covered, the format, everything that you need to know to figure out if this is the right reading for you. I highly suggest that you check that out. But to get started, we are going to start by looking at your energy and the energy of your future spouse, future love. So my intention was that my viewer is on the left and your future love, future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies could be flip-flopped. Also, what you may find is that sometimes this can sound like you and this can sound like you, and that can be because typically there is some overlap with the people that we connect with, especially a soulmate, like attracts like. And last thing, if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. Try choosing a different pile, or it could be that this specific reading doesn't have a message for you, and that is okay. Let's get started. Let's see what we have here. So, stop. It's the raccoon. Guys, I fed 42 raccoons today. They are my favorite. They're so cute. Also, I volunteer at a wildlife rehab. No, I'm not feeding raccoons on the street, I promise. Then we have the golden egg. Advocate. Let's see what we have here. So we have the hawk. I also fed a hawk, a red-tailed hawk. And earthworm. And then finally balance. Okay, so let's talk about it. Pile number 3. So pile number 3, don't tell the other piles you're my favorite because you're being represented by a raccoon. And if you are one of the people that are like, you know what? No, I'm the hawk person. I still like you very, very much because you're being represented by a hawk. But for the raccoon in this specific deck, the raccoon card is represented by the element of earth. So we have a little bit of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. However, the golden egg is one of the spirit cards in this deck, which means that all 12 zodiac signs are represented. And for the hawk, we have some air. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then we have the earthworm with some earth. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But let's talk about this raccoon person. I'm going to talk about this person as the raccoon person. This person is going to be the hawk person. So let's start with our raccoon person because, again, you're my favorite. Don't tell the other piles. But this raccoon person, who is this raccoon person? First and foremost, you're being represented by the raccoon, so you're probably a lot of fun. You are probably very, very cute, handsome, beautiful, gorgeous, all the things, because raccoons are stinking cute. In my opinion, they're the cutest animals. You're also probably somebody who is very generous, very playful. With the raccoon and the golden egg being here, you could be very artistic as well to some degree. There could be some sort of artistic endeavor that you partake in. I also think that you are very caring if you are this raccoon person or whoever this raccoon person is between the two of you. I will say there is a lot of creativity with the raccoon card being here and that golden egg as well. So there is some level of either self-expression or creative expression for this raccoon person. I guess I should say this is somebody who would have some sort of talent, some sort of gift. Whether they practice it or not, that gift, that talent is there. I also think that with this raccoon card being here, this would make you someone that is very interested in self-knowledge and in being self-aware. So getting to know self, figuring out like, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? I do think that would really drive this person to like figure out like, again, who am I? Like, that's a very important question for this person. I also think that with this raccoon person being here, this is somebody who is going to we have this advocate card here, but this is somebody who's going to speak up. This is somebody who is going to be heard. And this is somebody who's not afraid to speak their mind, right? To say, like, this isn't right, or this is how I'm feeling, or this is what needs to happen in order to move forward. So this person could tend to be very vocal about getting their needs met and making sure that they are being heard and understood. I also think that this raccoon person, if this is somebody that doesn't have some sort of outlet, whether it's creative or emotional, there has to be some sort of outlet, or this person would really kind of drive themselves mad, because this is somebody that has a very restless energy. This is somebody that has a lot of energy. And if they're not dispelling that either through like exercise, creativity, having some sort of emotional outlet, some sort of creative expression, I do think this is the person that would really feel the effects of that. I also do think that this is somebody that has a very big heart and someone that really cares deeply about like their inner circle. I think people in general, and like this could be somebody that really loves animals, but especially like people that they care about, and people that they have invested time and energy into. So like family, friends, loved ones. This raccoon person really cares deeply about them. I do think that for this raccoon person, making sure that they have ample time for rest, like this is the type of person that probably needs like a specific amount of hours of sleep or rest before they can tackle the next day and be okay. Like this is somebody that wants to make sure that like the basic needs are met so that they are able to thrive. I will say this raccoon person is probably a bit of an ambivert, but I will say this person does have a lot of like introverted needs. Like this is somebody that needs to take time out and go within and really sit with themselves and contemplate and meditate and connect with themselves in some way on a regular basis. I also do get that this is someone that intimacy is very important to this raccoon person. So, in order to be in a partnership, in order to have any sort of connection with someone, not just romantic, but in general, they have to have that sense of intimacy, that sense of emotional safety, and that feeling of like this person has got my back and I can count on them. And I do think this raccoon person is very tender, very sensitive, but it takes a bit to get there with them. They have to trust you in order to let you in. That's absolutely coming through. So, this is somebody that may appear tougher in the exterior than what they actually are, but that you have to earn them trusting you. You have to earn this person allowing you in and showing you their more tender, sensitive side. But let's talk about this hawk person. So, for most of you, this is going to be your future spouse, your future love. But this hawk person is someone who is very good at seeing the bigger picture, but at the same time, this hawk person can get into the nitty gritty details if they have to. This is somebody that I would describe as a visionary. This person has a very clear outlook of where they want to be and how they're going to get there. This feels like the type of person that always has a plan. And I do think that sometimes this hawk person does kind of get so caught up in the plan that they kind of tie themselves up in a knot, just like that earthworm is showing there. Because I do think that this is somebody that can struggle with a little bit of flexibility, in the sense of like they have an idea of how they're going to do something, and they can be set in their ways. They have like Taurus Capricorn energy to them, of like they, once they're set in their ways, it can be a little bit hard for them to figure out a way to kind of move in a different way or to realign. But what's interesting is that this hawk person is very good at reading energy and very intuitive, but they can be, again, a little bit set in their ways. I also think that part of the problem that the hawk person can run into from time to time is that they can see so many possibilities. They can see so many outcomes. They can see in so many ways that things could go differently and work in different ways, that they can sometimes get themselves into a little bit of like analysis paralysis. But I do think this hawk person is very ambitious. I do think this is somebody that is very intentional and very much focused. I will say, I think the raccoon person is a bit more flexible and go with the flow than the hawk person, who kind of wants to know how everything is going to work out and make sure that there's a plan and that the plan is followed to the T. But I also think that with the hawk person, there's a strong connection to spirit. There's a strong connection to the divine. And whether the hawk person is aware of it or not, it really helps them on their journey and on their decision making. Which is interesting because this person does sometimes hesitate when it comes to making choices. But this is somebody who is very intelligent. And I think that that is why they can kind of get in their own way. It's because, again, they know in so many ways that things can work out, but they also know in so many ways that things cannot work, right? That things can work kind of against them. One thing about the hawk person is this is somebody who's very honest. This is somebody who's going to always tell it like it is. This is somebody who's very reliable. And this is someone that I do think this is someone that works very hard and is always going to be there to like lend a helping hand or to be a support system in some way to the people that they care about. And I don't think that one thing about the hawk is this is not somebody who's intimidated easily. So even if things get tough, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep pushing through. There's something about this person's voice that is very, it stands out in some way. For some of you, it's going to be like the tone. For some of you, it's like a very beautiful voice. For others of you, it's like a deeper voice. Like it's going to stand out in some way. And I feel like for my pile number threes, especially if you're the raccoon person, you're really going to love the hawk person's voice. Vice versa, if they are the so I said if you're the raccoon, you're going to love their voice. And if you are the hawk, this raccoon person is going to absolutely like be mesmerized by the voice. I'm almost wondering if for some of you this person has like a very beautiful singing voice. But pile number three, let's get started. So we're looking at a day in the life. So we're going to look at like when you wake up on this day, on this specific day, what's the energy between you and your future spouse as the day begins? So what is the energy between you two as this day begins? And so far with the other piles, it's been interesting what has come through. So let's see what type of day we get for you, pile number three. So a day in the life, what is waking up together for my pile number threes? What's the energy between my pile number three and this future spouse, future love? Bottom of the deck, the high priestess. Goodness, if I can pick this up. So we also have the 8 of cups. The Queen of Pentacles. Let's do that way. and the Nine of Swords. So it feels like when you wake up, okay. So, as far as the energy when you wake up, pile number three, I'm kind of getting two different vibes here. So, I think for some of you, you're just waking up and it's like a little bit of like, we're just exhausted. We didn't get enough sleep. It's just like a little bit overwhelming. For others of you, there's something that's causing a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of discomfort and even just some stuff coming up that needs to be dealt with. So for some of you, we could be dropping in on a day where like things aren't starting out so great. Maybe there's something that's being carried over from the night before. And for others of you, it's not necessarily something between you and your future spouse. It's more of we're just exhausted and life has been lifing and it's very overwhelming. So we're trying to stay afloat. We're trying to make sure that we tackle the day with confidence, that we tackle the day in the best way possible. The Ace of Pentacles. So it could be like, you know what, we got to go to work. This is one of those work days, right? Where it's like we have to go to work. We have to get the bag. We have to make sure that we're making the money to pay the bills or to pay something off or to create, a good retirement fund for us. But I want to clarify this. Hold on. I want to clarify this pile number three because I'm not sure what this is. We're going to clarify this for you. Let's clarify this pile number three because I can kind of see this going both ways and I don't know which way it wants to go. Goodness, I'm going to drop all of these cards. For my pile number threes, let's clarify what is this energy when they wake up together? What's going on here? Let's clarify this Eight of Cups. Gonna put that there for now. Let's clarify the Queen of Pentacles. And let's clarify this Nine of Swords. Bottom of the deck, and I'm being careful because, okay, the Sun card, see, that's different. Okay. I'm going to be careful with these cards because there is a little bit of nudity in these cards and I'm not supposed to show it, but clarifying, you know what, it's just bottoms. Clarifying the Eight of Cups is the Lovers. Clarifying the Queen of Pentacles is the Page of Pentacles. And clarifying the Nine of Swords is the Five of Swords. Okay, so this helps. I don't necessarily think there's something going on between you and your future spouse as much as there's a lot going on individually and there's a lot just going on as far as what you both have going on, because the Lover's card is clarifying this Eight of Cups. So it does feel like this Eight of Cups is more of like, we're exhausted and like I have to like choose and make sure that I'm doing well and that you're doing well and that we're both doing well at this time. This Queen of Pentacles is being clarified by this Page of Pentacles. So this does feel like this would be a work day. And this Five of Wands is clarifying this Nine of Swords. So again, there's like a worry of like just some sort of thing, something not going necessarily right or something kind of being delayed in some way. But at the same time, at the bottom of the deck, we have that High Priestess here and the Sun card here with the Six of Wands. So I do feel pile number three that this is a day where you're both waking up and it's like a work day. It's a day where there are a lot of responsibilities that need to be taken care of. And that's what's coming through here. Let's take a look at what is a small gesture that your future spouse is going to do for you. Something small, something sweet that makes you feel loved and seen by your future spouse. Let's take a look here. What is going on? Bottom of the deck, the Wheel of Fortune. We also have the Four of Wands. We have the Star card. And we have the Strength card. So I do think there's going to be some words of affirmation on this day that is really going to stand out. Like, it does feel like your future spouse is going to be encouraging you and kind of giving you a pep talk. And I also think that you both are going to keep in mind what you are working towards, and that, this is almost a chapter in the book of your life together. So it almost feels like this is your future spouse not only telling you that they love you, but showing you through words of affirmation, through, making sure that they are really putting it out there, that they're proud of you, that they see you, that they love you, that they're thinking of you. I do think for some of you, this is a day where for you or your future spouse, there's something really important writing on this. So maybe this is like there's an interview, or there's a presentation one of you has to do, or this is like a day where you are applying for a promotion or giving some sort of speech, or it's a first day of work type of thing. Like, it feels like a very important day, but it doesn't feel important in the sense of like, it's not like an anniversary, it's not like a trip that you're taking together. It feels like there's something related to either like money, finances, or a responsibility that you have that feels very important on this day, that is almost like making this a very stressful in some days. Like, I don't want to say stressful. There is nervous energy here. It's like anxiety to some degree that is coming up on this day, because there's a change here. There's something that's riding on this. For some of you, this could be a day where you are trying to find the home that you're going to buy together, or you're going to the bank to get the loan approved, or you're, again, like a new job, you're putting your name somewhere, you're taking a test. It feels like a very stressful, in the sense of there's something very important happening, and it feels like your future spouse is showing up by kind of giving you encouragement, which makes me think that this day, if it's only for one of you, like if it's only something that's happening for one of you, it's probably for you, my viewer. And this is why your future spouse is showing up in such a supportive way. But this feels like there is like some sort of achievement, something that is possible here, that both of you are very focused on, that both of you are putting time and energy into. And this feels like the culmination of that. This feels like this is what we've been working towards, whether it's together as a team, or it's just like you're doing the thing and I'm supporting you. And I do think for many of you, it's going to be you, the viewer, that is going through something, if it's not both of you together. But for some of you, this could be like you're trying to get approved for like a home, or you're trying to get approved for the loan for the home and you already found it, or you're trying to go look at like, it feels like something that's going to create a lot of change, and emotionally there's a lot that's riding on this. So there's a lot of like emotional encouragement through words of affirmation, and through like this person, your future spouse, being your number one cheerleader. And I also feel like this is somebody who's going to be very like glass half full. It's gonna work out. Like, don't worry, everything is gonna be okay. We've got this. We've done everything that we can do. And I also think that your future spouse is going to kind of be the rock of like my pile number threes. My viewer is probably gonna be way more anxious, and it feels like your future spouse is taking the role of like the person that is remaining cool, calm, and collected. Take a look at what the atmosphere here is. So, emotional, aesthetic vibe of the environment. What wants to come up as far as the atmosphere during this day? for my pile number 3s, what's the atmosphere during this day? 6 of Wands, 10 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 4 of Swords. There's a lot of anxiety here. There's something that's riding on this. Look at the 6 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. There's something that feels like this is going to be life-changing, and whatever it is, we both want it, we both need it, we both have really invested time and energy to get to this. But it feels like just like a very busy day. I do think there's a lot of running around. With the 2 of Swords, there is a decision that you are both waiting for. I do think for my pile number 3s, for most of you, this is either a job, this is either like a loan, a home, something along those lines, because there's some sort of decision. And I do think there's a lot of anxiety that's coming up over how this is going to work out, what the final choice is going to be. This could even be like one of you is applying for like a license. Like maybe you have a professional job and you have to get licensed, and this is the day where you find out if you've been approved or if you've been granted something. But or it could be a loan for a business, a loan for a home. It feels very big and life-changing, and it's a big goal. It's something that you both want to achieve. And I also think that there's a lot riding on this. There's a lot of like, we have invested so much time and energy. Again, whether you're doing this as a couple or individually, because even if it's an individual thing, you both have still invested so much into this. So there is a sense of like waiting for some sort of choice, and there's a lot of nervous energy around this day. And there's a lot of just like trying to stay cool, calm, collected, trying to stay grounded. I do think pile number 3, your future spouse is going to be kind of a rock during this time. Even if it's like a thing that you're both going through, like you're both waiting for this, it feels like your future spouse is going to be the one that's like, you know what, we've got everything. Everything is going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Look at that 7 of Cups. There's something very unknown here. There's something that isn't clear that you're waiting to find out on this day. This is very interesting. Let's take a look at your communication throughout the day. So throughout this day that we're taking a look at, what is your communication, pile number 3, with your future spouse? What is your communication throughout the day with your future spouse? Bottom of the deck, the High Priestess. The 7 of Swords, the 6 of Wands, the 5 of Pentacles. You both are going to be talking throughout the day. I do think this is a day where you are spending a good amount of the day together, but I also think that there could be some texting going on. I do think that you're going to be talking about like deep emotions, deep fears, anxieties that are coming up. I also think that you're both going to try to focus on, you know what, this is the bigger picture. We've done everything that we can, so we just have to kind of wait for this choice, because it feels like this whole day, it's very like touch and go, and things are moving, and you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening. And with this 5 of Pentacles and 7 of Swords being here especially, this is both of you communicating in a way that like you're being very honest. And I think that both of you are really just talking about like, this is life changing, this is life altering, but like no matter what, we're gonna be okay. And just trying to calm each other down and trying to keep each other grounded and centered throughout the process. I also do think there is a lot of like planning for the future of like, when we get this, this is what we're gonna do. And if we don't get this, everything is gonna be fine, and this is what we're gonna do. That's coming through. See, this is like a very action-packed, fast-moving energy that you're both going through, that 8 of Wands there. So as far as the communication, it's like very fast-moving. Things are changing, and you are both like talking about your deepest emotions, deepest fears, like your anxieties, your desires, like if this works out, this is how we're going to do it. And I think that you're also going to be offering each other a level of encouragement and like a level of just, you know what, no matter what, we're going to be okay. No matter what, we've got each other's back and it's going to work out for the best. I'm almost hearing like if it's meant to be, it's going to be. But there's a lot of communication. I do think a lot of this day you are going to spend together. So it feels like most of this is happening like person in person, face to face type of thing. But it feels like very intense. It doesn't feel like super flirty. It doesn't feel like super lighthearted. It just feels like we're just going through this together and we're trying to figure out, you know, what's next and what's going to happen. I want to see what a moment that defines this day for my pile number threes is. So pile number 3, what is a moment that is going to define this day for you? I'm very curious because this one feels like a high stakes type of day. This feels very different from the other 2 piles, I will say that. Ace of Cups. 6 of Swords, something moving, some sort of transition. The 10 of Swords. I know that says divorce. I do not feel this is a divorce. And the Lover's card. Pile number 3, a moment that defines the day is that there's going to be, you're going to receive a choice that is going to change your life. I do think that whatever happens on this day is going to change your life for the better. Why do I say that? I'm not just pulling that out of anywhere. We have the 6 of Swords, which is a card of transition. It's a card of leaving, you know, drama, leaving tough times behind, leaving choppy waters behind and moving towards calmer waters. We do have the 10 of Swords here, which the 10 of Swords says worst case scenario, right? The worst is now behind us. Now this is time for a new horizon. This is time for a new beginning. So having the 10 of Swords, I always say it's good news because the worst is now behind you. Now this is a brand new beginning and this is an opportunity to move to something better and to connect to hope and resiliency and to heal, right? And then we have the Lovers, which is a choice. So a moment that is going to define this day, something that you're going to remember is the choice, the answer, the decision that is given to you, the decision that is made, that is going to put, it's almost like it ends a chapter in your life and it gives you permission to begin a new one. You move away from something and move towards something better. You leave behind a difficult period or a lot of hard work and you get the payout that you deserve in its place. This is about like something closing out and something brand new beginning. And I actually have to show you. I see the Fool, right? Underneath this Ace of Cups, what do we have? The Fool, a brand new beginning. This is going to be a brand new beginning for both of you as a couple. This is going to be a brand new beginning for both of you in how your life is moving. As I said, for some of you, this has to do with like a loan. This has to do with buying a home. This has to do with like maybe even like getting transferred and you are moving somewhere completely different as a result of the transfer. This is something that is very life altering and that's why there's so much anxiety that's coming up. But it's not something bad between the two of you. It's just a lot of unknowns and a lot of one important decision that is going to affect your futures. And I do think this is something that both of you have worked very hard towards and that you're just waiting for like that final answer. Let's take a look at something you're both focused on for the future. Let's see if we can get some clarification as to what this is, even though it's probably going to be different things for different people. What is something my pile number 3s are going to be focused on for their future on this day? Bottom of the deck, what do we have? The Nine of Wands with the Hermit and the High Priestess kind of peeking through all at the same time. We also have that Ace of Cups. We just saw that Ace of Cups, the Empress card, and Temperance. Okay, I just had another situation for some of you. This is a trying to conceive journey that you're on. And this is the day you find out if you're with child. if whether it's like you were trying to adopt, or whether it's, you know, you're both trying to get pregnant, that this could have to do with that as well. But this feels like a very life-changing day, and something that you're both focused on going forward on this day for the future is creating more abundance and creating, like, manifesting what you want together, and making sure that you are both not only investing into each other, but investing into yourselves. And this is a day where it's like, no matter what happens, we're not giving up. No matter what happens, we're not just going to, like, walk away if it doesn't go our way. If we don't get exactly what we want, this isn't like something that we're just going to walk away from. It's going to be like a period of, like, let's take a break and let's regroup and let's practice self-care. But it's also going to be a period of, we're going to keep going. And the decision here is, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep moving forward. And I will say, pile number 3, you're both focused on making sure that you both have the best. Like, you want the best for your future spouse, and your future spouse wants the best for you. And you're focused on the outcome that you want. Again, this is talking about, like, even if we don't get exactly what we want right now, it's not the end. It's not no, it's just a delay. So there is, like, a big commitment to the bigger picture here. Let's take a look. So dinner time, how do you begin to wind down on this day? What is the wind down for this day? I'm very curious to see what this is here. What is the wind down for this day here for my pile number 3s? Because this may give us a little bit more of the outcome. Bottom of the deck, the Chariot. You're moving towards what you want, what you desire. The 8 of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the World card. There's something that's, like, wrapping up. And you are able to see something, to, like, there's a shift that's happening here. And as you begin to wind down for the day, I think a lot of what's coming through is just, like, that realization of, like, just like a deep breath, a sigh. And there were more ways than, like, there's more opportunities. There's more that it's like breaking free from some sort of mental prison that you had both created, or one of you created. You're, like, as you wind down, you are seeing, like, this feels like a day where, like, how you woke up and how you end the day is completely different, and your understanding and your outlook and your view of the world is completely different. That 9 of Wands, again, we're not giving up, but that Chariot card here, like, we're moving towards what we want. So I do think whatever choice you were waiting for, whatever it was that you are working towards on this day, I do think you're gonna get it. Why do I say that? Because the World is an ascension. The Hanged Man is a pause, but it's also a different perspective. And combined with this 8 of Swords, it's breaking free from an old story. So I do think there is a complete change, and I do think you get the outcome that you want. But let's see what we have here. Let's look at the final glance before sleep. So what's going on here before bedtime? Like, the final glance into this day. bottom of the deck, the Knight of Cups, I do think there is a lot of like happiness and just romance in the air as you end that day there. That Nine of Wands, the Hermit card, and the Seven of Pentacles. So I do think there is like a recognition of we are making progress. I also do think that this is a day where you end the day and it wasn't the easiest of days, but like there's a lot of just like, let's hold one another, let's just spend the night together, just like, you know, cuddling. I do think there's a lot of cuddling. I don't know that there's too much more other than cuddling, but it just feels like very comforting, very just supportive and loving. And it does also feel like you both are more at peace and at ease with what goes on during this day. With the Seven of Pentacles, I typically read the Seven of Pentacles as being impatient energy. But this Seven of Pentacles to me feels like it's more about just both of you reflecting on the day. And it feels like this is a day that as it comes to an end, it actually feels very just we've gotten to the other side of something. We've broken through. Yeah, I do feel like whatever it is that you were either trying for, working towards, waiting for, it was a positive outcome. Let's take a look. I want to see the final, well, not the final, but a message from your future spouse. Like, what message does your future spouse's higher self have for you at this time? And this could be a message for you right now. This could be a message about this day in the future that we're looking at. Let's see what we get for you. Pile number 3, we have the 10 of Cups. We have the 5 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the 6 of Cups. So your future spouse's higher self wants you to know that they are absolutely going to love you, and that it's you against the world. It's both of you against the world, and you're always going to have each other's backs. Your future spouse also wants you to know that this specific day that we're looking at is going to be a day where there is a breakthrough. I think for some of you, it has to do with something with a child or with a home. If I'm being completely honest, I do think this is a day where it has to do, maybe it's like we find out that we're pregnant, we've been working on it, we've been investing time and energy into it. It wasn't super easy, but it's here now. Or it could be like maybe we were looking to adopt, or it could be like we were looking to buy a home, we were looking to relocate. This was a very significant day for both of you, and both of you as a family. And if that includes children, obviously, as a family would cover the children as well, the pets, whoever is in the family. And your future spouse wants you to know that you're gonna be okay. Like, your love is going to transcend anything and everything that gets sent your way. And that when both of you set your mind to something, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And I also get that that message is for you at this point in time, whether you know your future spouse or not. That whatever you set your mind to, it's exactly what you're going to create if you give yourself the trust that you deserve. Yeah, both of you are going to manifest the life that you want. And you're going to be very intentional when you are together, but you also have the ability to do that now. And if you are working on manifesting your future spouse, trust the process. Trust that they are already on their way to you, or on the way to you. Let's see what we have here as far as these additional cards. Card number 1, chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of chemistry between you and your future spouse. Wedding. This situation involves marriage. So this is the person that you're going to marry. And this is going to be a commitment that's going to stand the test of time. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So for those of you that don't know who your future spouse is, asking a friend or letting a friend set you up could absolutely be something that you do. But I also think that when you are together, your friend group, your friend circle is going to be very important for both of you. So mastery, you've learned the spiritual lesson. And I do think on this day, there's a lot that's like happening, and a lot of it is like you've done the work and you've manifested what you've desired, and that's why it's going to work out. Patience, everything will unfold in divine timing. So again, I do think this is about the day of, but I also think this is a message for you now. So on the day of, I think it's so much hard work that you have both put into whatever this outcome was, whatever it was for you individually, and you got exactly what you were working towards. And for those of you, if you are feeling impatient now because either you haven't met your future spouse, or you met them but you're not connected with them, this is talking about like allowing things to unfold naturally. Longing, someone is secretly yearning for you. I do think that whatever this was about that was going on this specific day, there was a longing for it. This was something that was a long time coming. I also think that for some of you, you are longing for your person, and so are they, right? Like, even if you don't know one another, this person is thinking about you, and this person wants to meet you the same way that you want to meet them. So magnetic connection, there is a very strong pull and intensity that draws you to this person. So yeah, this is going to be, again, we had that chemistry card. This is going to be a very strong connection between you and your future spouse. Nothing has gone wrong. Trust the process. This connection is divinely timed. So again, we have a little bit of like that patience and that nothing has gone wrong. Trust the process. Everything is as it should be. And then finally, we have forgive and release. You are stronger when you carry love and forgiveness rather than anger. So, pile number 3, I also think that this is one of those where it applies to both, like before, you meet them in the now, and then also in this, like a day in the life with your future spouse. I do think that this is talking about, for both of you, right? Especially for this, a day in the life of like making sure that you're holding the highest and greatest good and the vision that you want to unfold. That is what you're holding on to, not anger, not resentment, not grief. And obviously those things are going to come up, and it's very natural to feel those things, but trying your best to move through it. And again, especially for those of you where you're struggling with like, I just want to meet my person, it's taking so long, like the things that I want aren't happening in the time frame that I want them to. Trusting the process, but also making sure that you're helping the process along by doing what you are intuitively guided to do. But I do think that together, you and your future spouse are absolutely going to create the life that you want and create something that is very beautiful together. And whatever this was about that we kind of tapped into this day, trust your intuition on what it was about for you individually. I do think it's going to be something very beautiful, and something that you both work very hard towards, and that you get that approval, that outcome that you want together. But pile number 3, that is what I have for you for your affirmation. Let's take a look. What do we want to do for this week? You know what? I really like this one. Everything is unfolding in divine timing, right? Everything for you is unfolding in divine timing, and you can trust that. Claim it in the comments, use that affirmation. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. All of those things help me out so, so much, and I appreciate you so much. Let me know what else you'd like to see next on the channel in the description box below. Also, stay tuned for the next poll. It's going to be up very, very shortly once this video goes up. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.